The first question is why Hong Kong? Why it makes sense to actually come to Hong Kong? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The first one, I think this is one of my favorite, is the ease of doing business. I mean, in Hong Kong, everything is made for business. It's really easy to set up the company, maintain it, find a web developer, like get your business card done, go for networking, get into clubs and find other entrepreneurs and clients. So it's really easy to actually make business here. The government makes it easy as well, and this is really comfortable. That's one of my favorite reasons for being in Hong Kong. The other one is a genuine business place. Now, obviously, there's many other genuine business places, but people often ask me, like, why should I go to Hong Kong instead of setting up a BVI or a company in Seychelles or something? I'm like, well, Hong Kong is a genuine business place. You know, you go here, you'll see like all the huge building. You know, you see business is happening. There is really something going on here. You know, it's a place for business. If you go to a place like I won't give any name, but if you go to an island with a nice beach and a building on it and a million companies registered, I mean, it doesn't give you the same kind of credibility, and you don't experience the same kind of business experience. It also have an attractive tax structure, which we'll be talking a little bit more in detail in this course as well. China is just next door, so it makes it really easy. I won't say to go to China because many people want to go to China to sell their product. It's quite difficult, I have to say, but actually going to China to source product is quite easy. So it makes it an ideal place for people in e-commerce, for example, or sourcing, trading that actually need to go to China and ship their goods back to Europe, back to the US. Yeah, so this is really nice because China is really close, so it makes it easy to cross the border, find your stuffs, but also to deal with Chinese companies because most of Chinese company have Hong Kong company to receive money from the clients. So it's actually a really good place for this reason. As a matter of fact, many of our clients are actually in e-commerce, like doing Amazon Shop, Shopify, you name it, you know. Because it's really easy to go and do your sourcing on the other side of the border on the mainland China. Also, it has a good financial system. I mean, we have banks that works. I mean, people will always complain about HSBC or the major banks, but still, I mean, it works. No, we can receive payment, we can pay people, we can do international transfer at a fairly low rate. One of the things as well is we have all the infrastructure that is required to run a new business model such as e-commerce. I know I keep talking about it, but PayPal works. No, you can actually get a PayPal account and withdraw your funds to your Hong Kong company. I mean, it sounds like it makes sense, but I tried to open a bank account in Mauritius, and then basically I discovered that although PayPal is in Mauritius, you can't withdraw your money in your Mauritius account. So it doesn't make it really easy to do business. But here, basically, PayPal is one of the example, but we also have like all the major payment gateways. So Braintree to checkout, WorldPay, Stripe, they're all in Hong Kong. So you can easily set up a business from here. It's really easy. Also for the financial system, just to finish with that, we also have some partners that helps with conversions. So if you get paid in one currency and want to get your money in another, etc. I mean, all these kind of things are here in Hong Kong, so you can really use all these facilities, and that's kind of sweet. Another reason is the labor cost. So if you need to hire people in Hong Kong, labor cost is fairly, I won't say it's cheap. I mean, Hong Kong is not cheap. It's not a cheap city, and people are definitely not cheap neither. So getting employees will have a certain cost. But what I like about Hong Kong is that when you pay somebody in Hong Kong, you almost receive all that money. There's really few tax, and there is no extra cost like social security and so on. There's something called the MPF, is Mandatory Provision Fund, which is a kind of retirement fund, but that's about it. That's all the employee will have to pay. And I will talk about personal tax a bit later in this course, but you can see that the maximum tax rate in Hong Kong is 15%, and 15% you have to make a lot of money to actually pay this kind of tax in Hong Kong. So your employee is receiving almost all the money you give to him, and that makes a huge difference compared to countries like Europe, where you sometimes end up paying 3 times what your employee will actually receive. So that's what I mean by relatively low cost of labor. The other reason is the safe and stable environment. I mean, Hong Kong is one of the places where you feel so safe. You can walk in the street at night. You never feel threatened. You can go in a bar or restaurant, leave your phone on the table. Nobody will just grab it and flee with it. It's fairly stable countries. I mean, the likelihood of getting a war starting in Hong Kong is fairly low as well. When economic crisis hits, generally we are one of the first one in, but we're also one of the first one out. So it's kind of a good resilient economy and safe in terms of politic here. Now, obviously, you could still argue with me and tell me like, oh, China is more and more taking control over Hong Kong. Yeah, that's true, but honestly, on a business perspective, it doesn't really make much difference. Business keep running as usual, and I'm here since almost 10 years now. And yes, you see that China is taking control over Hong Kong more and more, mainly in terms of culture and political perspective. But I mean, business keep going on, and I think that's a good thing. Then it's a central place in Asia. From Hong Kong, you are like 5 hours away from all major Asian capitals, and that's really sweet. So you can go everywhere around Asia from Hong Kong, and this doesn't make sense for a lot of people that won't necessarily have their office in Hong Kong. But if you choose to actually establish your permanent establishment in Hong Kong, basically it's good to know that you can actually fly everywhere around Asia really easily.